The Isle of Man and the Isle of Man TT Mountain Course, known today for its use in motorcycle road racing, started by hosting automobile races in 1904. The original International Tourist Trophy event took place in September 1905, a 4-lap trial of the rough 52-mile High Roads course. Over the next few years, the course would be shortened to 37.5 miles. Known as the 4-inch course, in reference to the 1908 regulations limiting engines to a 4-inch cylinder diameter, this course would be adopted by the Auto Cycle Club for the 1911 motorcycle races and become known as the Isle of Man TT Mountain Course. The final changes made to the layout in 1920 lengthened the course to 37 3/4 miles. Tourist trophy racing would continue on the mountain course until 1922 before moving on to circuits at Ards, Donington Park, and Dundrod due to rising speeds and road conditions. But what if automobile racing had continued on the TT course? Built entirely from scratch over a period of 14 years, Jim Pearson's rendition of the Isle of Man TT course allows us to imagine such a possibility. Originally released for Grand Prix Legends in June of 2019 and converted to R Factor 2 by S. Victor and Corti, this stunning course is available for free from the Steam Workshop. Paired today with Wuchu's excellent 1954 Endurance Sports Cars mod, we can take a look back in time to an event that never was. The 1954 RAC Tourist Trophy hosted at the Isle of Man. Based upon the great races of the 1950s, the GPLaps Historic Road Racing Championship pairs these excellent and challenging automobiles with epic natural road circuits from around the world. Boasting greater than 275 entries, the championship has seen some very strong competition so far. Qualifying for the Isle of Man event started on September 12th and will run through the 16th, with the first driver setting off for the time trial on September 17th at 10 a.m. Eastern. The championship is open to all who wish to compete in the top 4 classes in the mod, 2, 3, and 5+ liters. I'll be driving the number 500 Mercedes-Benz SL300 in the 3-liter class. Okay, so here we are on a lap now, about a minute and a half in, starting from Quarter Bridge, because this is an out lap, and, I didn't really think you'd want to see me pull out of the pits, so we'll time it here. It'll be a little funny, but hey man, a lap's a lap. So here we are, coming up through Highlander, gonna catch a little air. Could have been more aggressive with the throttle, but hey, can't win them all. So I got a couple things I want to talk about. Other than that, we'll probably just do some commentary. First things first, I want to talk about the cars, the mod, and what they're like. I mean, they are wild. They're varied. I mean, within the 3-liter class, there's 3 very competitive cars. This Mercedes 300 SL, the Gordini T24, and the Aston Martin DB3, I think. And the way they make their speed is all different. The Gordini is light, 230 horsepower. I think the Gordini's 1,900 pounds. This car here, this 300 SL, 2,400 pounds, only 215 horsepower. However, it goes straighter. It goes, faster in a straight line. Straighter in a fast line. The Gordini, being light, good on the brakes. Corner entry speed, very good. But all the extra horsepower, it really struggles to put it down. Even if you go into the 2-liter class, the Maserati, the Bristol. The Maserati may be a little bit better than the rest of the cars, but the Bristol is still competitive. And actually, very interestingly, to me at least, the most surprising thing to me is the Maserati and the Bristol capable of going faster than the 3-liter cars, and those being 2-liter cars. And then when you move to the 5+ liter class, really only 2 cars being used in the championship. The Jaguar D-Type, there we go, and the Ferrari 375 Plus. They're quite a bit faster than some of the other cars. The 8-liter cars, while having very impressive engines, do not get around a racetrack considerably fast. So as far as racing goes, Lagonda for Cunningham, they're not being used for the most part. Although I did see early in the week here there is a Laganda with a qualifying time posted that would make the cut right now. So very interesting to see if that lap is able to hold on and what he can do come race day. As far as the driving experience, like I said, the cars, from car to car, they're so different to drive, and how you make your time, you have to attack the lap differently. And that's something that I think is really awesome about vintage racing. It's more about the car, your driving style. It's not, setup dependent. It's more about the driving. You don't make your time by being millimeter perfect and braking as hard as possible and hitting the apex perfect. You make your time by backing your corners up and getting the throttle down and holding the good slide while not spinning up too much. And it's just, especially on these classic courses like the Isle of Man or Classic Spa or even Dundrod, Longford, where the opening round of the championship was, by getting these good runs and backing your corners up, you make so much more time down the next straightaway than you could ever make up on the brakes. But the same goes when you get it wrong and you're too late on the brakes, so you just SOL, man. You're going to hit whatever brick house is on the outside of that corner. And especially with like the fast corners, when you come to a fast corner in these cars, you can think that you got it right on the entry, and then about halfway through, you can see that, hey, I'm running wide, I need to try and slow down, but no matter you try and slow down, you're already at the limit of adhesion, of grip. You hit the brakes, you just run wider. You're halfway through a corner, you think that you can make an adjustment, and you can't. You're committed right from the word go. And it's such a different form of racing that I found really enjoyable to try and learn and progress at. It's just been an absolute blast learning these cars, these circuits, and how to go out and making lap time. And maybe not so much door-to-door battling or wheel-to-wheel battling, but it's definitely a challenge once you start looking at the clock and maybe even throwing up a lap tracker, a delta tracker, so you can see how you're doing through each corner and how you can make time. And I remember the first time I was driving a Cobra in Assetto Corsa at Classic Spa. And I thought I was driving the wheels off of this thing, just driving like a madman. And then I got my doors blowing off down a straightaway, and I said, what in the world, And I looked and I checked the car, and I'm like, he's got to be cheating, he's braking way earlier than me. He's not getting as wild as me. And, eventually I said, well, let's try it, let's try these lines and see what happens. And, I back my braking points up. I roll into the throttle easily. I try and control my slide. Yeah, you're going to slide a little bit. They're biased by tires. They're not perfect. But by doing that, all of a sudden you just see the seconds falling off your lap time and then you start pushing your entries. And now I'm gonna run wide, or you clip a brick wall or a stone wall or a impossibly hard row of hedges on the outside of a corner, end up in someone's living room, and it's all done. And you got to come back, and especially on these longer tracks, man, it's punishing. You come back here on the Isle of Man, it's 21 minutes around in this combo. You got a long time to think about it until you get another chance at that corner. Or even that spot where it's about a 4.5 minute lap. That is a great track to start out on if you wanted to try and experience something and then gain an understanding of what I'm talking about, the driving style of these cars and how you can make lap times, is to learn classic spots, not too many corners, and you're going to take them way too slow at first, just because you're not used to that flowy style of racing and really timing everything to where, yeah, you're going to slide and slip and everything else, but when you get it right, it's just so gosh darn rewarding. And I love modern racing and the competitive spirit of it, but I don't think, as far as a challenge when it comes to driving, it can hold a candle to classic racing. This is just so much fun and such a great experience. I highly recommend everyone try it. The mod, the track, I have the links down below. They're all free. R-Factor 2, you can get it for like $5. You'd be a fool if you're into sim racing and have the equipment to not try it. Where else can you do some of these things? You can't do these things anymore. You can't race around Classic Spa. You can't take your 54 Mercedes SL 300 out for a lap on the Isle of Man. And I mean, I don't know that you'd want to. The other big thing with these classic cars, and depending on the vintage of the car it changes, but these 1954 cars in particular, is the brakes are just non-existent, and they heat up when you do get to use them a little bit. I mean, all your braking zones are so long, and it's so critical to get them right, because if you're late by 50 feet, you're late by 50 feet. You know, there's no making it up all the way down into the corner. You know, when you go to pass someone, you don't want to do it on the brakes, because there's a high chance you're not going to make the corner, especially if you try and push your brake in a little bit later. There's no way to make it up. You can't lock up a tire on entry and just run a little wide. If you lock up on entry, you're hitting the concrete wall on the outside of the corner, or the hay bale, or whatever. You're going to run up the bank. You know, you're definitely not going to make the pass stick. And especially here when you get a few corners back to back, you know, even though I got my braking points figured out, but now I got 5 corners back to back that I have to brake for, and by the end of it, my brakes are garbage. You know, they're 1400 degree drum brakes. They're not cooling off in between these corners, and it's just such an exhilarating thing to put a lap together. You really have to put all of it together, and it's not just one section at a time, especially when it's 21 minutes long. You know, it's incredible. Speaking of a 21-minute long lap, do you know how hard this course is to learn? I think I probably got like 15 to 20 hours into learning it. I didn't learn the corner names. I just kind of came up with my own names. Probably I've heard it goes a lot better learning the corner names, but I just wanted to drive, I guess. I didn't feel like studying a map, and I don't have 2 monitors, so I was stuck just driving. But starting to learn the corner names now, and now that I got a flow for it, you know, everything kind of comes easier. When I first started out, you know, I turned invulnerability on. I'm a little weakling, but I would make these laps, and they'd be 25, 26 minutes or so. But I'd have a few big offs or whatever, right the car, get her back going down the track, and just trying to learn the track slowly and surely. You know, you put the first few corners together, and then you maybe learn a few more corners, and then there's always that one corner that jumps out at you, and you don't expect it. You know, it's hidden in the woods. You don't think that there's a sharp corner coming up, and you just pile it in the wall. And eventually, you know, as I got to learn the track, gosh, I mean, out of those, say I put 15 hours into learning it, I'd say I spent 13 and a half of them without being able to complete a clean lap. Just, you know, one corner or another would catch me out. You know, and when you do eventually put that clean lap together, you're like, oh my gosh, it's just so rewarding, and you're so proud of yourself. It's a great feeling. And then the biggest thing to me is shocking. It's just shocking. When I was doing those 25-minute laps and crashing, they took forever. I mean, it felt like 25 minutes. When I put that first clean lap together, I was so in the zone. I was so concentrated, moving on from one section to the next, remembering what was coming up. It was a 22-minute lap. Yeah, it's only 4 minutes quicker, but it felt 20 minutes quicker. I mean, it feels like I just barely started the lap, and then you're just flowing, you're concentrating, you're thinking, and the next thing you know, you're down to the end of the course, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like you just start out, and then you're in Ramsey, and then, maybe not Ramsey, you just start out and you're in Kirkmichael, say, and then you go through there, you go through the Balnall Bridge, and into Ramsey, and then coming out of Ramsey, you know, you go through Waterworks Bend, and then you're coming into the mountain. You just got to get around Gooseneck, and then you're into the mountain section. And then the mountain section just flows so nice right down into Craignaiba, and then you just got a few corners left. You put it together, and then you get to Signpost Corner, and it's blind. It's uphill. You can't see the entry. You can't pick a braking point because you can't really see where anything is. And you run wide and just absolutely plow the wall. And now you just got 20 minutes into your lap, and you got to start over. It's just great. I mean, the challenge here presented, it's next level. The track here that Jim Pearson put together over 14 freaking years. Can you even imagine? This was released in 2019 for a game that came out in 1997, 22 years after it was released. Just incredible, the amount of work that Jim put into this. And even S. Victor and Conti for converting it. It looks great. It's not a modern track, but there's no glaring issues. There's not a lot of Z fighting. It doesn't look garbage. You know, it's okay. It's not iRacing. It's not ACC. Yes, but it's believable. It's fun. Like I said, it draws you in. The little details they have, the corner markers, the flag marshals. It's just incredible. All of it fits together so well, and really is just an amazing experience to come and turn laps on. And now that I can turn laps, let me tell you, I've been doing a lot of laps. It's just such a good time. It's always something new. You're always learning. You're always improving. And I mean, half my laps still aren't clean. Granted, I'm pushing. I'm looking for lap time. But, you know, you have the struggle of learning the track, and then you have also the struggle of learning how to push on the track, you know? Well, how fast can I actually go through this corner? Yeah, I know this corner is here, but is that a low-range third gear corner, or can I hit it mid-range third gear? And it matters, you know? This set of bends here, very tricky, you know, decreasing radius and then it opens back up. And it's a big run out of it, you know, you're wide open for a long time here down to Stonebreaker's Hut. And the veranda, you can lose a lot of time by not getting a good run or hitting that corner just far too slow. My experience in the other cars is kind of limited. I dabbled here and there, but never really put anything together until I came across the GPLaps Historic Road Racing Championship. And I picked out the 3-liter class. I thought it would probably be the easiest. I expected the 5-liter class to be the biggest, just being that it was the premier class. However, the 3-liter class has turned out to be the biggest. And you know, I picked it out just the cars are a good balance. You know, they're not too slow, not too fast, they're not too tricky. Granted, they are the slowest cars now that I've actually raced and seen how fast the 2-liter cars are. I think I may have enjoyed that challenge a little more, or maybe even run an 8-liter. Hopefully this happens again and I can try out a different class. I think that would just be great. So hats off to Jake from GPLaps, and I believe Ian Monroe helping him out, and if there's anyone else that I'm not aware of, thank you guys for putting on the series. Awesome effort. Everything is presented so well, just in typical GPLaps fashion. Just the hype is unbelievable coming into these race weekends. Doing one race a month. I missed the first round. I had previous commitments. Couldn't be around on the weekend. I was able to enter the second round at Spa. Qualified third in class. Was pretty happy with that. Throughout the course of the week, just pushing and learning the track. You know, I had like a 419, and I thought, you know, there's no way I can go faster than a 419, and then sure enough, a 417, and then I look online and Maria, she posts, Mia Rose, Mia Rose, she posts a 416, and I'm like, there's no possible way, you know, and she's in a different car, she's in the Gordini, and I kind of watch her turn some laps, and I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I can make up some time, and sure enough, next thing you know, I'm turning a 417, and then I hit one just right with a rubbered up track in the qualifying server, and sure enough, I got down to that 416. It's just the greatest feeling, you know, to gain seconds at a time, and you can really just, through driving techniques, not even having to mess with the setup, I was able to affect my lap time, you know, to the effect of 3 full seconds that I was able to cut off. It's just great. On to, like I said, Jim Pearson creating this track. Incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you to S. Victor for converting it. Corti for his help. I mean, look at this. Look at the detail here. You come down to Craig Nyba, more fans. This is where a lot of fans congregate during the races, so there's more fans here, and there's the restaurant and the dining room, and then you come down this hill, and it's not fancy, but it's definitely makes you feel a certain type of way, like you're there. Definitely gonna change the way when I watch the Isle of Man TT motorcycle races, you know, now that I know the track. What better chance for an experience at this? I think my computer's crashing. Hopefully something gets saved here. Why do I got no signal? Have I just not moved the mouse long enough? Yeah, that's what it was. That was a screensaver timeout. Sorry. Glad you guys got to hear me talk about it, though. So anyways, here we come to Hillberry Corner. We're getting towards the end of the lap here now on this beautiful course. This is the famous signpost corner. I can't even begin to tell you how many laps I've messed up. So currently in qualifying for this week, I got a 21:01. I was up 8 seconds on a lap, and I binned it at signpost. I ran her in too deep, and all I had to do is finish that lap out. I probably would have been 9 seconds up because the previous lap I didn't push very hard through the nook and the last couple corners, just trying to make sure I had a good banker lap because I knew it was going to be solid. So gonna have to try again soon. Definitely gonna be getting on soon and giving it another shot. Shout out Woochu for this amazing mod, guys. Download it. Even if you're not into the Isle of Man or classic tracks, just take it out on a modern track. The driving experience, amazing. Like I said, not very many setup options, but you can affect so much change in the car just by how you drive it. When you turn it in, you know, when you let off the brakes, when you press the brakes, when you get on the throttle, it's just amazing. The variety of the cars is great. You can start down to a 0.7 liter car, just little screamers, you know. Mazda Miata style. You know, they got 1 liter, 1.1 liter, up to the 2 liter cars to 3 liters, and then even up to the gigantic Cunningham 8 liter car. Here we are coming across the finish line. As you can see, I pulled up the timing, 21:05 on that clock. Once again, an outlap. So we ran her down through Bray Hill here and finished out this one just for the timing's sake. Like I said, I didn't think you guys wanted to watch me pull out of a pit lane. That's not that entertaining. So, but anyways, thanks again. Thank you to Jim Pearson. Thank you to Woochu for these cars, and thank you to GPLaps for putting on the series. Really looking forward to entering this time trial and seeing how I can do this weekend, and hopefully getting to participate in the rest of the series and some great classic tracks that are out there. Thanks again for watching, and take care. Bye.